Hey guys, Mark Holmes here at the Red Brick House, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report as well as Joe Boo's day job. And working here on the Red Brick House, haven't done any content in here for a bit. We've actually kind of taken our time a little bit here at the Red Brick House and kind of caught our breath after all the work we did last year. And now that it's springtime, we are getting back into the swing of things. Probably not as hard and heavy as we did, of course, for the course of the last year of getting the place together. And the place has changed a little bit. We've still been doing some work, but not quite as much. Right now, it is gorgeous out here. It's going to be about 75 degrees. And one of the things that we have been doing since the last video and stuff is we've been working on actually cleaning up the space around here. We've gone through, we've cut all of the vines before they have an opportunity to grow. We've pulled them as much as we could off the trees. We have gone through here and put gravel. We are going to need to get some weed killer and spray down because we don't want the poison ivy to come back. But we're going to be careful because there's ones that kill everything, and we don't want to kill everything. We want to actually make it so that we keep the soil as good as it is. But as I can show you, you can see this is really nice because this is actually where I park my truck. You can see right here, last year, basically the brush came all the way over into here. Now, it's springtime, and you can see all this stuff is beginning to start popping up, and I do not want to have it popped up in here. Eventually, what we hope to do this spring is we're going to build an outdoor kitchen that's going to be right here where we can barbecue and things. We're going to be using the bricks over here, and it's nice because you can actually see the bricks and stuff. You can see all the wood and the pile of rocks that I had gotten from when I built the house over at my dad's house for him on another street, and of course the firewood. So we've got some cleaning up to do in here. But what we're going to do, like I said, we're going to build an outdoor kitchen here, and down the hill over here, I'm going to get a tiller probably the next couple of days, and we're going to till up a section here to actually have a garden here, because the soil here, look at this. The soil here is incredible, and this is why we don't want to use any weed killer that's going to kill the soil. See, when you see the farms, what you'll notice about when you see the farms in the fields and the corn and soybean and things, you never see weeds. But what you'll see is the soil looks like this. Now, this is some dirt that we ended up bringing up from the basement cellar. That's the clay in the ground. That's what they basically are growing all the food and stuff on. They go through, they spray it with chemicals that literally kill everything in the soil, including the weeds. And then they have plants that are genetically modified that can live in that things. But what it does is it strips out the nutrients and things that are in here. This soil goes down. And when I ended up digging, look at this. Hasn't been touched in forever. Look at that soil. That soil is so nutrient rich. You don't need any fertilizer. This soil that hasn't been really touched, for a couple hundred years. So we want to take advantage of that. Over there is the perfect spot because it'll get plenty of sun and everything else, and we'll be able to water it and so on. So that's one of the projects we want to do. I do have I have 1 gallon of this paint, which is the red paint that we use on the house. We painted the front of the house to make it look better, and we used up what we had to kind of fill in. I'm going to mix up mortar at some point here and point up the rest of the brick and get this painted. We're going to get a lift out here, so that way I can do the chimney, because we need to definitely point up the bricks up on that. So those are some of the things we're doing. I have all of this wood because downstairs, you'll remember before, we ended up building a retaining wall on the back. I'm going to build another one here on this front quarter where it has actually eroded a little bit in there to help stabilize. In fact, I'm going to do that today. But then what I'll be able to do is be able to build a storage rack and a workbench, so I can put my miter saw down there when I'm working and stuff. I need to cut a couple of things, I can go down there and do that. But then we can put all of our tools in there because we've got other things we need to do. This goes on to the honeydew list. And like I said, you guys have not been seeing much in a while. So something new that we have is this is actually a heat press for doing t-shirts, and we have a sublimation printer that's upstairs, and we have to find a place to make it work. Now this is, of course, some of our tools and things that we have in here. We have a whole bunch more planers, hand planes and stuff that are down in the cabinet. I've got to build a nice little display for them. I want to actually sharpen up the tools and use them to make a piece of molding so you can see, well, we'll build a nice rack here, but you'll be able to see the profiles and things that they would have used to have made the stuff. But you can see how much nicer the place looks. We do have this TV in here, and I will get a mount and mount this on the wall, and that way it'll look a little bit better than what it does here. But I think the look and the feel of this is much better. We have the electric fireplace that's in here. I actually ran a outlet inside of the chimney here, inside the fireplace, for it to hide it. What I need to do, because the original fireplace you can see is very, very rough, is I'm going to take some gravel and spray paint it black and put them in around there, so that way it'll look like it's coal that's pieces in there. It'll make it look better. We're working on, my wife is going crazy with plants. So we're working on actually putting strip lights to go around the cabinet here to illuminate it, so her plants will be able to get more light and grow much better. And it'll also be able to help us to show the stuff that's on here. So here's part of the reason why we're doing the wall thing downstairs. As we've done construction, we have just kind of moved all this stuff. Originally, this was in the kitchen, then it was in the front room, then it was in here, and then finally we put shelving in here. But what we figured out is if I get the stuff downstairs, I can keep the paint down there because it's basically climate controlled, and I can make some storage places so I can organize my screws and things like that and actually do some work in there. What's interesting is that was actually a workshop at one point because there was all kinds of pieces of wood for molding. So they did picture frames. There's still glass that's in there on one of the walls that, where they cut glass and stuff for it. But we'll be able to take all this stuff out. We'll be able to store it downstairs and be organized and be able to use it better. But we'll carry this shelf across here, and the sublimation printer will be able to go in here along with all the supplies. So then when my wife does do t-shirts and things like that, everything is down here for that. So this is a look at how the room is actually shaped up. The TV mounted on the wall will definitely look a lot better. So the room in here hasn't changed much, but if you are a guest at the house, one of the problems that we had was with the doorway right there and this cabinet right here is there's no space for a nightstand. So we came up with a solution for that. So I made a drawer front. We painted it white. You open this up. You have this flat surface that's here that you can set your bottle of water on, alarm clock. You can plug in your phone to charge it. But check it out. It also opens up so we can keep stuff in here. So it's a dual purpose to maximize the space. And then in the morning, when you get up, it can go right back in there. So that's a way of trying to maximize using the space in there as much as possible. The back porch, we're not going to go out there because that's a mess. And again, that's where a lot of the stuff that's in there will be able to get organized downstairs. But that's going to be another project here for the spring. I've got to go back to my friends and get the wood that we're going to be using to cover the walls with that. And we're going to actually we're going to find one, but an antique sink to go on the wall out there. So that way, when I come in and I'm dirty and all that, I can use the sink out there. If we're doing plants and things, we'll be able to clean the stuff out there and then bring them in. Because, of course, we've got all of the plants and things in here in the kitchen, and I think it looks pretty good. So it's definitely gotten more comfortable. And for the course of we've been here straight for the last month. My mother-in-law broke her leg, and we are helping to take care of her. So you may remember we used to have the big TV up here. We decided to take that out. It just was too much, and when people come in, the first thing, we didn't want them to just see the TV and it's like, wow, it kind of hits you. We'll end up getting some artwork, and I'll end up plastering this over because, this is before I got better with it. This has a lot of, it's not that even. So I'm going to replaster this. But the room itself, it's cozy. The big couch and thing that's in here. And we never sit in here. We literally never sit in here. So now, here's where we are up here. And I'm very, very happy that we got this couch. And it is a mess right now because we are cleaning it up. But this couch right here is a modular couch set. And you can always buy more and more pieces to add to it. And what we've actually done, my wife has been mopping the floors and cleaning this stuff up. We got 8 pieces for it and put it together. And what's nice is, me and my wife, we can just kind of sprawl all out the couch. We took the big screen TV and we put it up here, which has a dual purpose because you can see it real well from here, or I can see it real well from my studio desk over there. And so this is really my studio up in here. And when I was talking about the sublimation printer, that's this thing right here. So this and all the papers and all that stuff will be able to go in there. But it's getting a much better feel for it. And this TV actually looks better up here than downstairs. The greenery, the white walls, the wood, it feels very, very warm when you're in here. You feel very comfortable when you're in here. And this is where I spend most of my time. If I'm not working and building on something, I'll be working here at my desk and shooting videos, uploading videos and things like that, keeping up with the news. And me and my wife have decided every night before we go to bed, we're going to spend time on the couch together watching TV. And I think that's good for a relationship as well. So those are some of the things that have been happening. You can see the artwork that is up on here. This one's a little bit crooked, and I'm going to have to kind of shim it to get it up there because we've got screws that are into the plaster, and you can't just say, oh, move that. No, it's not that easy. So I'll actually wrap some wire around it to actually kind of shim it up a little bit to get it perfect. But the look and the color of it really complement with the plaster and the wood over there, the mantelpiece. And so that's a look at how it is right now. And we'll continue to keep working on this. We've done a lot of things like I've added like outlets here and there to make it easier to do stuff. For example, the closet in the hallway downstairs, we actually have a printer because I need for, of course, Joe Boo Sports, and my wife needs it for keeping up with all the paperwork. But it's in the closet, so we had to put an outlet into the closet so that way it can be right in there, hidden away, ready to use whenever we need it. So there you have it. There's a look at how it's all come along here at the Red Brick House. And we're going to keep on saving her. Peace out.